Ellie and Jan. So I'm going today to talk to you about the coral restoration in the Bahamas. So Jan, well, I know you're not going to plant any coral, but everything that we are going to do, it's really adapted for, you adapt those guidelines for each individual project based on local environment and government. So I would like first to introduce you the PIMS and the Reef Rescue Network. So the Pyramid Institute for Marine Science is a program-based institution conducting on research throughout the Bahamas and other parts of the Caribbean. And it is in partnership with government, international NGOs, local organizations throughout the region. And the PIMS, the PIMS research is focused on management of fisheries, condition of coral, conservation and restoration coastal ecosystem, and conservation of threatened marine species. The PIMS created the Reef Rescue Network to build a network of coral nurseries to upscale coral restoration efforts, and rehabilitate coral reef and assist in the recovery of critical endangered species, and create a network of community, diver organizations, dive shop, and volunteers. The Reef Rescue Network coordinates the coral nursery establishment, maintenance, management, outplanting, and monitoring with its partner. And specifically, it assists with training local partners and developing and implementing criteria for restoration, nursery site selection, harvesting coral from source population, growing corals in nurseries, outplanting coral to reef, and monitoring the success of the restoration at multiple scales from coral colony to reef ecosystem. So the network provides opportunity to build partnership between the scientists, the marine resource manager, conservation practitioner, businesses, and coastal community that, of course, depend on really healthy reef. So in 2018, Eligio Carr, PADI course director, contacted us to start a new partnership with the Reef Rescue Network in Cat Island. She's actually the coordinator of the Reef Rescue Network with over 40 coral restoration projects in the Caribbean. And those coral nursery advise to restore coral reef and reclaim this threatened marine habitat. The project benefits so the local community who needs a healthy oceans. And she works also with hundreds of volunteers, and she has organized events, training, and education sessions. So she's really good to communicate. So she aware young people like Bahamian young people, community volunteers, donors, NGOs, private company like Greenwood Beach Resort, and local government. She has a big experience in management and technique of coral nursery, and she's also the author of the PADI Reef Rescue Diver course, which is taught throughout the Reef Rescue Network. And if you want more information, you can see on the slide, there is her email address, Hailey.care. You say care or car? Hailey.
Hailey J. Carr.
Carr at perryinstitute.org. So Greenwood Beach Resort, we wanted to be part of the network because as diver, we were aware about the variation in the coral reef, and we wanted to be part of this coral restoration. We also wanted to make some effort to restore coral in Cat Island on our scale and rehabilitate the coral reef on Cat Island and assist recovery of critical endangered species. So this can be shown. We explain everything in the Paddy Reef Rescue Dive course to our visitors. I try to do with the communities, but it's another work. And at the moment, we have 7 trees on our nursery. All right. So this is a map about the Reef Rescue Network Coral Nursery. So you can see there is spread a bit all over the Bahamas and Aruba. So there is 2 nurseries in Aruba and 1 in St. Lucia. In Cat Island, we are just here, and the resort is in the east side, but our nursery, we choose a location that was a bit protected in the south, and it's about 10 meters. So the value of the reef, the coral reef supports more species per unit area than other marine environments, supporting approximately 4,000 species of fish and 800 types of coral and 100 of other species. Scientists estimate that there may be another 1 to 8 million undiscovered species of organisms living in the and around the reef. So you can see the value of the reef have an impact really important, especially in tourism value for us in the Bahamas, flood protection, coastal protection, health, because there is a lot of drugs come from the ocean, marine life, and food production. Unfortunately, the reef are threatened by both human and natural causes, and they are susceptible because they live within a very narrow tolerance range with respect to light, temperature, and nutrients. So, of course, if the water is too warm or too cool, the coral can die of a thermal stress. And if the water gets too turbid and blocks the light, they may suffer from starvation due to reduced photosynthesis. But too much UV can also kill the coral. Nutrient-laden water may cause corals to be outcompeted and overgrown by nutrient-loving macroalgae. So you can see a lot of sources, land-based sources pollution is a big problem. The big coastal development also. So everything, unfortunately, they will create pollution and of course cause the mortality of the coral and have a big impact about coral growth and reproduction. Overfishing. So many fishing technique can be destructive. In blast fishing, dynamite and other heavy explosives are detonated to startle fish out of their hiding place. More than 40 countries are affected by blast fishing, and more than 15 countries have reported cyanide fishing activities. Use of chemicals such as cyanide or bleach to capture fish and crustaceans also kill coral polyps and degrade the reef habitats. Bottom trawling, this is also another problem because they use a weighted net who dragged along the seabed and destroyed and takes most of the things and is highly destructive. Anchor damage and vessel grounding also cause large area of coral reef damage. And that's why, for example, at Greenwood, we always be careful where we put our anchor and always choose to anchor on a patch of sand far away from the reef, because even sometimes when you have a little bit of current, the boat can be dragged and hurt the reef if you are too close to the reef. Overfishing may remove also predators of species that eat coral, like fireworms or snails, and having an abundance of those can cause an increase in coral mortality. Also, coral harvesting for building material and souvenir have devastated large reef tracts in some places, so please just avoid to purchase items made from coral or shells or other endangered species. Weather-related damage to reef occurs frequently. Large and powerful waves from hurricane and cyclone can break apart or flatten large coral heads, scattering their fragments. So on the top and bottom right, no, it's not the right. So on the top and the bottom right images, they were taken by the Peru Marine Institute coral reef assessment after Dorian in the Abacos in 2019. The top image shows a huge reef broke in half, as you can see here. And the bottom image here shows a huge amount of debris from land ended up to on the reef. So climate change is the greatest global threat to coral reef ecosystem, and scientific evidence now clearly indicates that the Earth, atmosphere, and ocean are warming, and that these changes are primarily due to greenhouse gases derived from human activities. So the best you can do is be careful the way you consume. Try to buy bulbs with low energy efficient. Low energy efficient. Try to turn off the water. Consume directly from producer, directly like fishermen, local fishermen, small fishermen. Try to be volunteer for beach cleanup or water cleanup. And also what you can do, it's a big thing, especially when you're on vacation, use sunscreen without oxybenzone, because this is a big product that degrades the coral reef. This, you can see the coral restoration is one way to help our coral reef to recover and a way to help save critically endangered species. There are many different methods and techniques within the coral restoration, including coral breeding, microfragmentation, as that's what we teach on the reef risk. The goal is to outplant nursery reared corals back on the reef to bolster existing coral colonies and increase the likelihood of a diversity of coral colonies being near enough to each other for successful cross-fertilization during the sexual reproduction. By increasing the population numbers and the number of distinct parent genotypes through propagation and outplanting of nursery-grown fragments, sexual reproduction and recruitment are expected to have a higher success rate, ultimately aiding in the natural recovery of the species. There is a huge variety of coral restoration activity occurring all over the world that you can become involved with. It's important and to always get the correct training and understand the task and procedure involved for each type of coral restoration project. Coral nursery are an important component to marine conservation as they provide a collection of species that can be added to the reef to help regenerate areas that are stressed or damaged. Slow growth rates of coral were once thought to limit our ability to restore coral reef. However, it has since been shown that different corals grow at different rates and in favorable conditions can grow much faster than in natural conditions on reef. Over the last few years, many areas of coral reef have been rejuvenated with corals grown from a nursery and have for marine life. Outplanted corals have even spawned, which is a huge indicator to positive effect this type of coral rehabilitation can have and how it can help to restore huge tracts of reef. Fragments propagated in nursery are often gathered from broken pieces of existing colony or chosen from a specific genetic colony. It's also beneficial to gather pieces from as many different colonies as possible to have plenty of genetic diversity within the nursery. Consideration of genetic factors is essential because long-term success of a restoration effort may be influenced by genetic and genotypic diversity of restored coral population. Corals are tracked from the source colony to a nursery unit to a plant site, so we can gather data on the success for each genotype, plus make sure a good mix of genetics are outplanted close enough to each other for cross-fertilization. Genetic and reproductive intervention provide an opportunity to increase the genetic diversity within population to allow them to adapt to a changing environment or permit selection of traits that may improve the resilience of coral population and species. Sorry, what's happened? Sorry, I just have a little freeze. Yeah. Next slide is about outplanting. So corals for outplanting should be harvested from nursery when new growth exceeds 15 centimeters, 6 inches. And at this time, new growth may be cut from the fragment in the nursery, leaving at least 5 centimeters, 2 inches on the nursery to regrow. So you always cut and outplant and let the bases regrow. During harvest from nursery, keep the same genotype together so they can be outplanted together in clumps. Other genotypes should be outplanting clumps within 50 meters, 50 feet of a different genotype. Once you are certified reef rescue diver, you can join outplanting events and you might assist in outplanting a large number of coral, which is really, really cool. Many species of coral are critically endangered, and that's why they are mainly cultivated and grown in nursery all over the world. And the main coral cultivated in the Caribbean region are the Acropora cervicornis and Acropora palmata. So the Acropora cervicornis is staghorn coral. It's that one long with secondary and primary branches, and the elkhorn coral. Those two are the main ones. So several nursery designs have been developed for growing coral, and each design provides different benefits based on each location, specific environmental condition, and project goals. In the Reef Rescue Network, we have 3 inline nursery designs. So it's about 32 coral nursery growing with 6,166 coral fragments over the Bahamas, Aruba, and St. Lucia. So coral restoration is one way to help our coral reef recover and a way to help save critical endangered species. And there are many different methods and techniques within coral restoration, including coral breeding, microfragmentation. Is that what you will learn during the PADI Reef Rescue Diver course? So this is a different way to protect the coral. We talked about it a bit earlier, but basically save water by energy efficient light bulbs, volunteer to local beach and reef cleanup. Whenever you go diving, we don't touch anything, please. I always see that, especially when people want to take pictures, they just land on the stuff, or people want to have a look on a small fish and grab the reef. So it's pretty annoying, especially when you know there is small stuff that are alive, and especially coral. So we don't touch anything and keep your distance. Even underwater, we have to do social distancing, you see. And practice safe boating. So when you anchor, and don't send chemical in outer way, be a marine debris crusader, and the sunscreen, what I was talking to you a bit earlier. So the PADI Reef Rescue Diver course, if you want to be certified as PADI Reef Rescue Diver, You must be 12 years old, be open water. So the aim to be of the reef rescue diver is network, sorry, is in the creation of and implementation of training course to assist more recreational divers to be involved a bit more in the scientific world of diving to help protect ocean, because of course the diver are the best ambassador for that. And the goal of this course is to learn a bit more about corals and how to maintain a coral nursery and how to learn how to plant a coral. So the network aims to raise awareness to local community visitors about the importance of the coral reef and what they can do to help stop further deterioration. Into the Reef Rescue Network, we are 46 reef rescue diver instructor, over 10 dive shops in that. Sorry, you can see in the bottom right, we have the 5 nurseries. There is 2 more on the right that you can't see. So this is when we were settled the nursery. Here you see we have some fragments from a source. And this is the result. Oops, sorry. Ta-da! Beautiful, nice nursery. You see it's all around some protection and on the sandy area. Here it's my last student before COVID. So you can see on the top picture we were like practicing the outplanting. So we didn't take any coral on the purpose. We found one broken coral, so we decided to do it. So first you brush the substrate, you nail it, and then you can take a beautiful picture to see that you restore the coral reef. On the bottom part, you see she's cleaning the nursery. So we don't clean the coral, because you might hurt it, but you clean the pipe. So the main pipe with a big brush. I don't know if you see in the video. So this is the big brush for the pipe. And then you have for the line, the small line, a smaller brush, and you do each fishing line. So this, you have to do it every month to make sure that the algae don't grow over the coral. Here is the branch growth and morphology that we observe in November. You can see one of the corals. And February, you see it grows a bit on that side, and it grows here also. And in May 2020, you could see it grow significantly. Oh my God, I hate that word. You can see here grow, and also here. So if you want more information, I invite you to visit the perryinstitute.org, Greenwood Beach Resort. You can ask your question to Ailey Jo at this email address, ailey.car@perryinstitute.org. You can also want to follow the course at Greenwood Beach Resort. We offer the course info at greenwoodbeachresort.com, and you can follow on the social media, Instagram, and Facebook. Thank you for listening, and I wish you a nice and great Scuba.Digital show. If you have any questions, please feel free. Or Ailey Jo can also answer your question.
Great presentation.
Hello, everyone.
Thank you, Ian.
Hope you learn a bit more. Yeah, I hope you learn more about your Bahamas land. Are you a diver? Yeah. Oh, but great. You come back. We're going to do the course.
I'd love to do the course because I did it a little bit in Andros, but actually learning more about it and the whole process is very interesting.
Yeah, when you know a bit more, it's more obvious, and you say, wow, a lot needs to do.
Yes, definitely. This should be happening like all over the Bahamas, definitely.
So if you have any question, Jim, hey, Jim, do you have any question for Ailey Jo or myself? No question? Jan, everything was clear to you regarding my Franglish?
No, it was beautiful.
Hi, Bernardo. Oh, I'm sorry you missed the session. So no question? Jim? No? Ellie, you want to add something else?
No, that was great. Thank you so much for spreading awareness about the Reef Rescue Network. And Ian, just to say, yeah, the course is really great in that it only takes one day. So, you know, when people are on vacation, they don't want to spend the whole time, you know, necessarily doing study or in the classroom. So it's just one day, you know, a couple of hours of a PowerPoint presentation when they learn all the background and theory, which Pauline touched on. And then they go out and do 2 dives at the coral nursery. And obviously, you know, if they want to do more dives than that, they can. But to just do the course, it only takes one day. And then if they want to do more dives, then obviously they can just book that through the resort to do more diving, more outplanting, whatever they want to get involved with.
Okay, it might be worth telling the tour operators over here that sell the dive resorts that this is something that they can do at like Greenwood or other places. So definitely get the word out about it.
Yeah, and I think, like I said, give me.
We are.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. Sorry. Go ahead.
I was just going to say, Ian, there are other dive shops that offer the Reef Rescue Diver course as well in the Bahamas and St. Lucia and in Aruba. So what I can do for you if you email me is I'm going to give you an exact list of those places that people can go to do the course.
That'd be great. Thank you.
And a lot of them you might be working with already, but maybe they're not advertising the course enough. That's what I'm trying to get these dive shops to do, is to promote these activities more, because people want to get involved in coral restoration. And if you don't have it on your website and you don't have it shown anywhere, how is people going to know? So I think you'll be surprised with some of the people that are offering the specialty course that maybe you are dealing with and working with, but you just didn't know they offered this program. So if we could work together to help kind of boost these places to show, look, you can do this at dive shops.
Yeah, definitely. And we're starting to do some social medias for the Ministry of Tourism as well, specifically for the like niche market. So we're gonna create one for diving for like Instagram and Twitter to get these specific information out there to the audiences more.
Oh, that'd be amazing. Yeah, that's fantastic. And, you know, I can help you with assisting you with images. You know, I have images throughout the whole network from different locations, different islands throughout the Bahamas.
Great.
So yeah, anything, and we're a non-profit, just so you know. So, you know, we're a non-profit organization. We just want, you know, we want the dive shops throughout the islands and the Bahamas, especially now after COVID, to attract more tourists back to the Bahamas. And I think that this is something that can really attract people back to the Bahamas, because we have this network. You know, they could go to Cat Island for a week and do coral restoration there with Pauline. They could then go over to Andros and do it at Small Hope Bay. They can then travel on. So they can even, you know, island hop and do coral restoration at different locations. So I definitely would love to connect with you and assist you in really boosting this. And like I said, I have images, I have content, I have information, and I can connect you with different dive shops or resorts if you're not already connected with them. But it's the main players throughout the Bahamas, which so you're probably familiar with most of them, but maybe there'll be some that you're not.
Sure. No, thank you very much for that.
And you can have social distancing for sure here.
Definitely. Very important right now. So yes.
Yeah. Okay. Thank you very much for listening. Do you have any more questions, Ian or Jim? Or who else is here?
Nope.
If you have any questions, please feel free. No?
I'm good. Thank you.
Cool.
Thanks, Pauline.
Thank you. Bernardo, I know you just arrived. Do you have any question? From Curacao. where I used to work before. Ah, you know, Elijo in Curacao, Paul Bosch is doing the same thing.
No, don't know.
Yeah, he's doing the same thing in east of Curacao.
Fantastic. No, there was a great presentation. The only thing, the video didn't really play.
Oh, you haven't seen the video?
Yeah, well, it played, but I couldn't hear it. Ian, could you hear the video, just out of interest?
It was coming in and out a bit, yeah. It was just a sound. The video was okay.
Okay. Oh, I'm sorry for that.
It's a shame.
All right. Thank you very much. I wish you a nice day, Ailey, Jan, a nice afternoon, and we keep in touch.
Yes,
have a good show.
Thank you very much. Have a good day.
Thank you. Have a good day. Simon, did you have any question? Hi, Simon.
Hello, how are you? Sorry, this was slightly unexpected. You caught me a bit unawares.
Okay. Did you get the chance to see the presentation or not really?
I did. I was watching it while making coffee and doing the things we do in our dive shop, coffee shop. I think we're making more money with coffee. We're making more money with coffee these days than diving. So.
Yeah, that's for sure. You are in Dominica, right?
Yes, we're in Dominica. So I'm actually very interested in coral reef restoration because we've got various feelers out there, and we've done some locating for Acropora to make sure we have genetic diversity from the sample sites and stuff like that. So I'm sort of moving ahead without necessarily having the end game organized yet. But I've sort of been informed by a few people of the correct first steps to take. We have superb diving here in Dominica, but it's a lot of sponge life. That's what we're really known for, is the color of our reefs, from barrel sponges and tube sponges and encrusting sponges and stuff like that. But around on the Atlantic side, where we've been diving this last month, because it's been so flat calm here, I've actually rediscovered this massive bay of over 40 colonies of Acropora. Yeah, and some of them 2 meters across. So we want to use that as the sort of stage one for taking us genotypes from. So we're at the very, very early stage of everything here, and of course, COVID has put a bit of a dent in our plans of moving people around. We were going to have somebody come down in February of this year, and of course that didn't happen. But it's really encouraging to see what you're doing. And I think, it's. I was having a conversation at the Scuba.Digital show with somebody saying how important we all are as ambassadors and scuba divers, because we're the front line of conservation.
Exactly.
So when we're going bankrupt and going out of business, we're really losing the ambassadors and the frontline warriors who are out there every day. I don't know what your situation is with skittle disease, but we're on high watch for it here.
In the Bahamas, there is, they don't recommend to Americans to travel. In Europe, it's almost closed everywhere. But for us, people can travel. In Cat Island, where I am, there is no cases at all. So we are COVID-free, which is great. But then it's about the tourism, the fly company. That's the big problem. We are waiting. I'm running a resort, basically, and we have a dive shop. And I don't know if you heard when I was saying that we're part of the Reef Rescue Network. So I did this presentation through the Reef Rescue Network. So if you want, I can give you a contact about that lady who's coordinate all the reef rescue over the Bahamas, and she had in Aruba and also in St. Lucia. I don't know, maybe I'm interested about her.
Yeah.
And
for sure.
So I'm like, I'm running a resort, and this is something apart, but part of the hotel kind of, because as I explained also during this presentation, as a diver, we are aware about the situation underwater. So we wanted to be part of that locally, as there is nothing done on the island. So that's why we said this. And that's why I want to spread the word, because it's so, first, it's such an amazing, interesting things to do. And once you are connected with the right person, you can do on your own, and doing a bit, then it will be bigger, you know.
Yeah, I agree. I mean, it's.
So, do you want?
Yes, I'd like the contact information. I'm certainly interested in having conversations and figuring out what the best path. Because I was actually asking about stony coral tissue loss disease. If you have that up there yet, but it's running rampant in some islands.
We have the same problem too. So you can contact her definitely, because it's something that came, and she explained like how to clean all the gear, our gear, the boat. I mean, I just sent you a message. I don't know if you saw it, and it's her email address, ailey.care@perinstitute.org.
Okay, great.
Have you seen my message?
I'm not sure I know how to find your messages, but yeah.
When you go, you have chat.
Yes.
Otherwise, I can try to send
I got
you
it.
an email.
Yeah. So I think, you know, when we're out there diving,
and
we need to be watching out for these things, because when that disease does arrive, it's devastating and it's very fast. And if we don't have people out diving, an eye open for it, it's going to run rampant before we even detect it.
But the thing I am concerned, I'm just thinking about, what about the big yachts and the big ship that can have this in bilge water, because you know it's when the water runs.
So interestingly, and this is a totally unscientific observation, but I just found out that the stony coral tissue loss disease is in Guadeloupe, which is only one island away from us. It's not in Dominica yet, but they have a very, very high traffic with yachts coming back and forth. They have a lot of marinas. They do a lot of yacht work. And the Marine Reserve has actually been in consideration in the last year of putting moorings in the Marine Reserve. So I've just requested that that sort of is put on slow until we figure out if yachts are carrying this disease around, because that's the last thing any of us need. We had the Lionfish Invasion, and we had to deal with that. And then we had Maria, and you had, I forget which one hit you, but I know you guys in Cat Island got hit pretty hard. So we seem to be just rolling from these punches and trying to survive and try to stay in business so that we can. In the last since March, we've been diving as staff, you know, without clients. We've been diving to do fish surveys and coral reef surveys and repair moorings and everything like that. But there's only so long we can keep that up until the tourism starts again.
Yeah, exactly. But I did not. Did you see a lot of stony disease?
No, we have none in Dominica yet. We have none, but we have heard it's in Guadeloupe, one island away. I just saw a report from Turks and Caicos where they said that there's a treatment that's 90% effective. So you know, we as dive shop owners need to be working with our fisheries divisions and making sure we have that treatment in stock, because you've got to get out there in a matter of days to treat it.
But yeah, if you have on the also on the PIMS, the Perry Institute for Marine Science, they are talking about the stony disease. Let me write it for you. And
in basic, I think it's a great idea, because definitely, well, Dominica is a nature island. We're not a very typical Caribbean destination where people are coming to lie on a beach for a week. We got nature lovers and bird watchers and scuba divers and free divers. So I think it's important to create a chain through the entire Caribbean where people can come and do good things to work on the reefs. So the more of us involved in it and the more we can send each other business, the better.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. So I just send you the website, and you have her email address, the website. You can have a look. They explain a lot about that disease, and they are doing a lot of other things. So I will highly recommend you to have a look on the website.
I'll do that, and I appreciate the information. That's a great help.
You're welcome, Simon. I don't know how it works when the session's supposed to stop, if it stops automatically. I don't know. Yesterday I was struggling.
I have not figured it out yet. I haven't figured out how to do a session yet. So you're ahead of me in the game. So.
Okay. But it's really nice concept, I think, especially with that new situation. And you don't have to run from booth to booth to see that person and see that talk. I think it's really nice, the Scuba.Digital, what they did.
Yeah, I must say I was a little dubious, because we all know, we go to our shows, and I always do DEMA and do the Paris show and various shows around the place.
Yeah.
And, you spend a lot of time socializing and meeting new people, and you think, well, how can this replace it? But it'll never replace it. But I think so far I've met interesting people and had some good conversations, and if we move the bar forward into island cooperation and conservation, then it's awesome.
Yeah, definitely. I think it's nice, and you don't have contact with people, so at least you have a good social distancing too. So yeah. So you do in Paris too? You go to the Salon de la Plongée?
Yes, I go to Salon de la Plongée. We have a Dominica booth out there, and a bunch of us go underneath the Dominica booth, kind of the umbrella, the tourism board umbrella.
Okay. Have you been this year?
This year I haven't been. Oh yes, I went this year. Yes, in January, before everything. In fact, I came back from the Salon de la Plongée and had a really vicious flu, and I was on my back for 4 days, and only afterwards went, I wonder. if Paris had COVID at that point. But no, it was a good show in Paris, and of course we're surrounded by Guadeloupe and Martinique, so the French islands are very important for us and the French business. But unfortunately now France is a mess, as is the US, and Guadeloupe has got over 7,000 cases. So I mean, we're not getting any business at all out of Europe now.
No, the same for us. All the Caribbean is the same. The only market is hoping for the US.
Yeah, and that's a mess. Well, and then once again, we need this. We're getting a bit of business from Barbados, because there's been a small Caribbean bubble formed, where the islands that don't have any community transmission are working together to allow people to transfer between the islands without lots of tests. And so we're getting some divers from Barbados who are just taking a little vacation to come over. But that's pretty much it. It's small numbers, but every little bit helps.
Yeah, that's true. We were closed for 7 months. It was just horrible.
You were from March to September?
Yeah. I mean, we kind of reopened in July, but it was only 20 days. I mean, people was just where they can travel, and then they locked us down again.
Oh, you were locked. Okay, we were only locked down sometime in April for about 3 weeks, and we.
But the lockdown. I mean, we are so isolated, and the resort. So I stopped keeping tracking, because even if we were not locked down, no company was flying in.
Yeah.
So
yeah, open for nothing. Yeah, well, let's hope we can have a season where we can make a little bit of money to survive the next coming slow season, because it's brutal timing now. I mean, I thought when the outbreak happened in March, at least it was the end of our season, or the tail towards the end of our season. We'd already had 3 or 4 good months, but now here we are. coming into our season, and it looks like things are not much better for most people.
No, unfortunately, I think it won't start again before next year.
Yeah.
I don't want to be negative, but that's what happens.
Yeah, it's reality. Well, at least we live in nice places and we can go diving, right, Pauline?
Exactly. Want to beach and relax, and I mean, we've been working as crazy to get the resorts in good condition, but the opening keep being postponed. So.
Yeah, yeah. I was still looking forward to last year. I was supposed to do the tiger shark dive in the Bahamas, and tiger sharks. It was so looking forward to it, and then the weather after Dima got too bad to make the crossing, so I couldn't do it. So I said, well, this year I'll still try and do it, and now this is happening. But one day I'm going to get out there and see those sharks.
Come to see us, the oceanic white tip.
Oh, wow. Really?
Yeah. We were supposed to start session this season, and the COVID stopped everything. But there is, in 3 parts in the world, you have oceanic white tip, Egypt, Hawaii, and Cat Island is where we are.
Okay. So what's that, out in deep water on a mooring?
Yeah, so you are in deep, and you just hold to a bar, but you need, I guess you are an instructor, so your buoyancy is good, and you just, and we are going to, but you put in a box just for the smell, and that's it, and you just enjoy. They are so nice sharks.
Wow.
Oh.
Wow. That's fascinating.
But if you want, I can
sign me up for that one when things clear up. Yeah, send me information on that.
Sure.
We don't.
So,
we have
healthy
reefs here, but we don't get any sharks at all. So I'm very eager to do some shark diving.
Okay. Can you just? I try. You have a booth? Yeah.
Yes.
Okay, I'm going because I don't know if the session, we're supposed to leave the session because the time is over.
Okay.
If you want, we can talk later on your booth, on my booth.
Yeah.
Up to you.
Yeah. Want to send me a message or what time, and I'll meet you there. I'm fairly flexible. It's 11 o'clock. I think I have a dive at about 3. But
okay, no problem. I'm just. No problem. I'm going because I want to watch another session, and no problem. I will recontact you today.
Excellent. Thanks, Pauline, and nice session you did there.
Thank you. Nice to meet you, Simon. Have a great show.